shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I can see through the facade like
What's going on, fight fans? It's another great day when you love MMA. Welcome back to Matty Fight Talk. So the UFC has booked another big one for us. They're lining them up this year. UFC 279 going down September 10th at the T-Mobile Arena is officially set for Nate Diaz versus Khamzat Chimaev. Now, this is going to be an action-packed fight. It's Nate Diaz's last fight with the UFC, potentially. He's on his last fight. He's been begging to get his last fight. If you guys haven't been paying attention, Nate's been tweeting like crazy. Give me somebody to fight. I'm trying to get out of my contract. I'm trying to move on to bigger and better things. I mean, he's fought for the UFC pretty much his entire career since he was a really young man. And now he's a grown adult with a lot of clout behind him. He could potentially start his own promotion. He might fight Jake Paul. We never know. But the guy's definitely ready to move on and do different things with his career. So Dana White finally agreed and got this guy an opponent. And who other than Khamzat Chimaev to step in against a really gritty veteran like Nate Diaz. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is going to be the end of Nate Diaz, RIP Nate Diaz. This is going to be a one-sided ass whooping. Khamzat Chimaev is actually the favorite in this fight. I believe the odds are 4-1 against Nate Diaz. Nate's the underdog. I mean, he's been there before. But this is going to be a tough fight, no doubt. And I'm actually really excited to see what happens in this. Look, if you guys are UFC fans and been following the UFC and probably saw most of Nate Diaz's career, I don't need to preach to you guys. This guy's a warrior. He's not going to go and lay down for somebody just because he wants to get out of his contract and get this fight over with. He's not there just to make the money. Even though sometimes it seems like he is, he still goes in there and he bangs it out with top contenders. The last guy he fought was Leon Edwards, and Edwards was winning 10-9 every round. He was doing what he needed to do. But in the fifth round, in the later part of the fight, he exposed him. He cracked him with a solid straight and had him on skates. I mean, if Nate would have put his foot on the gas, he could have finished that fight potentially. He ended up losing a decision. The thing I'm worried the most about this fight is Nate Diaz's mindset. Does he still actually want to fight? I mean, he's taking on a top contender like Khamzat Chimaev. Does he just want to get the shit over with and move on to the next thing? Or is he like, you know what, I'm gonna expose this guy and then I'm out. I'm gonna beat their number one dude, the guy they're building up the most, and I'm gonna send his ass with a loss as I just skate off into the sunset. So I'm very curious to see what his mindset is coming in this fight. And Khamzat Chimaev, on the other hand, we all know his mindset. That guy's a fucking dog. That is the definition of a warrior. That dude has a killer mindset. I mean, for any MMA fighter coming up in this day and age, that is how you want to be. You want to be like Khamzat Chimaev. Fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. I'm going to take these fools out. Now, Nate Diaz, 21-13, has 4 KOs and 13 submissions in his career. He's 2-3 in his last 5. Everybody keeps talking about Nate hasn't won a fight in the last 5 years. I mean, that's a little bit ridiculous. All you got to do is go back and check his record. The dude, his last win was against Anthony Pettis in 2019, where he won a 3-round decision, ended up calling out Jorge Masvidal, where they created the BMF belt. They fought for that. Some bullshit. Never saw that belt again. It was just some crazy hype job by the UFC. But regardless, he beat Anthony Pettis. I mean, he struggled against Masvidal with a cut, and then he lost to Edwards with a 3-round decision. But you got to remember, this is the same guy who ended the hype train of Conor McGregor. In 2016, he fought Conor McGregor for the first time. I believe it was like, what was it, March of 2016. Conor McGregor was the biggest, baddest thing. I think he just won the interim belt at 145. He's moving up to 155. He was supposed to fight like Dos Anjos or somebody. The dude ended up dropping out of the fight. Nate Diaz steps in on short notice. These guys duke it out. And he ends up submitting Conor McGregor, exposed him. And then in the next fight, yeah, he got dropped like 3 solid times in the first round. It looked like he could have finished. McGregor could have got a finish in that fight. But Nate ended up battling back and making it a fucking war. And you got to think, the reason I'm bringing this up is because that's the mindset he brings to these fights. He can take damage, he can take your best shot, and then he gets you tired and exposes you. So if that's the mindset he's bringing against Khamzat, it's going to be interesting. Now, Khamzat Chimaev, on the other hand, he's 11-0, 6 KOs, 3 submissions. He's 5-0 in the UFC in 5 fights. So the dude's had 5 UFC fights and won them all. This dude's last fight was against Gilbert Burns, April 9th, where they put on potentially fight of the year in a freaking barn burner of a war. between, both sides were fucking swinging for the fences. Gilbert was cracking Khamzat. Khamzat was cracking Gilbert. I mean, it was clear that Chimaev did more of the damage, but he said he learned in that fight. He had to go 3 rounds, and he was fighting somebody who he couldn't knock out and couldn't put away and was testing him and dragging him into deep waters. I think he needed that, and I'm glad that I got to witness that because it makes me, in my mind, think that, man, this guy is really dangerous. He took on a top-level dude early in his career and did great in that fight. He has heavy-ass hands, knockout capability, and on the ground, he's an absolute monster. This dude's a phenomenal wrestler. So in this fight, I do believe it's going to come down to a ground war. Standing up, it just depends. I mean, Nate Diaz, he's a very technical striker when he wants to be. He has outstanding boxing. Chimaev has the power, but I don't think he has the power to knock out Nate Diaz. I mean, Nate Diaz has only been finished twice in his career. Once was against Josh Thompson back in the day. He got TKO'd with a head kick. And then before that was way long ago when he fought Hermes Franco for the WEC belt, and he got choked out in a submission. I mean, those are the only times he's been finished in his entire career. So there's potential for it to happen, but not really. I mean, if he couldn't knock out Gilbert Burns, I'm not saying these guys are the same guys. I think he's going to struggle to knock out Nate Diaz. And he does not want to get into a striking battle with Nate Diaz. But is it any better if he goes to the ground? Because 13 submissions, that's speaking a lot. Now, Chimaev is a really good wrestler. If he gets this fight to the ground and he starts ground and pounding Nate Diaz, landing nasty strikes, maybe some elbows, we don't know. I mean, he could split open a cut because Nate Diaz has a lot of scar tissue. And he bleeds and gets cut extremely easy. His fight against Jorge Masvidal was stopped due to a cut. Every fight that he's been in that I can remember, he gets split open, and from the very beginning of the fight, he's pouring blood. That's not the greatest thing you want to have happening in high-level fights that are 25-minute fights, 5 rounds, where you're going to be fighting for long periods of time. The doctor could step in at any time to stop the fight because of that. To me, that's a way to win for Khamzat. I mean, all you got to do is crack this guy, split his eye open, and just keep hammering that away, and the doctor's going to stop the fight. So it just depends. I really don't think the stand-up, Khamzat's going to have too much of an advantage because, he can land his shots, but he's not like, a Leon Edwards where he's going to be fluent in the striking department because this guy's a grappler. He's going to want to get in there and take him down. I think his best bet is to take Nate Diaz down, be very cautious of the submissions because Nate is dangerous off of his back. And I feel like a guy like Khamzat is going to force him into using his jiu-jitsu skills. I mean, the guy's a fucking high-level grappler, has tons of submissions, choked out McGregor. He definitely has the capabilities to tap out a guy like Khamzat Chimaev. So we'll have to see. If I'm picking on this fight, the guy I'm going with, I'm going to go with Khamzat Chimaev because, one, he's young, he's hungry, and he's determined to get to the top of that division. The fire is there. Nate Diaz, he's ready. He's checked out, man. He's over it. He wants to get out of the UFC. I'm not saying that he's not going to bring it in this fight because I do think he is, and he has plenty of ways where he can win the fight. But I just think Khamzat is going to cut Nate Diaz up too much. I think he's going to land shots, and it may or may not hurt Diaz. He might drop him, whatever. Nate's been there before, but he's going to split those old scar tissues up. Nate's going to be pouring blood, and I think the doctors are going to stop it. I think it's going to be a doctor stoppage due to cut. I really think that's going to happen. And yeah, I just see Khamzat winning this fight, and I think he's going to go to 12-0 and potentially get a title shot after this. I really do. I love Nate Diaz, but Khamzat, he's more determined, and he's on a hot streak right now, so I think he's going to continue that fire. But anyway, guys, hit me in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys hyped for this fight? Don't forget, like my video, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you on the next one.
Haters talking shit, yeah, they breath stank. Walk up in the club, dripping like I'm fresh paint. I could